Hi and welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. Today is July 1st, 2003, and this is my weekly update, number 23. So, this week was a little bit better than last week. We still did have a minor problem, I guess. So I don't know what we've done to anger the plumbing gods in our house, but apparently we've done something. This week, well, a couple weeks ago, we had our, I don't even know the correct term, but our reservoir well tank in the crawl space sprung a leak, and we had water everywhere in the crawl space, had to replace that. Last week when we said I'd had a little homeowner issues, I was in the shower and my daughter started yelling at me. I didn't know what she was yelling about. That's because all the water from the upstairs shower was then coming through the ceiling. So we had some plumbing and septic issues that we had to replace some pipes on, which that was just a disgusting mess. This week, I was making dinner, which, me making cooking is never a good idea anyway. But I looked up. There was a wet spot in the ceiling, so we had to tear out that drywall and found out we had cracked pipes up there that my husband had to replace. But that was only minor considering what we dealt with the week before. So hopefully all of our plumbing issues are taken care of, but I did get a lot of work done this week. So this is what I quilted this week on the long arm. Now I did do a video showing it. Now, this quilt actually was a free sew-along that Fat Quarter Shop had done a couple years ago. And they actually used blocks from this Lori Holtz vintage book and picked them out and did that. So I quilted it with a dragonfly pattern. So we'll take a look at the quilting. Alright, so there's the top of the quilt, and I quilted it in this dragonfly pantograph, and this is like a sampler style quilt, so all the blocks are different. Take a look down here at that bottom row. Now I do think when I made the quilt, I do think that these two fabrics should have had more contrast in them. But it is what it is. And the back. There's what the back looks like. I got some threads there. There we go. So that's what I quilted on the long arm this week, but I did manage to finish 2 quilt tops. Let me show you those. So I finished my boxed in quilt pattern that was done in those Americana themed fabrics. Let's take a closer look. Alright, so there's the top, and we'll work our way down. So that's the first one. Now let me show you the second one I completed. And this is the second quilt top I finished, which is the Petunias quilt pattern, which was from a Sew Sampler box. It was the July 2021 box. Let's take a closer look. So there's the top, and we'll work our way down. I've got a couple stray threads I need to clip off there. But that one's all done. Now I did do a lot of piecing this week. I did all 4 of my June gnome blocks. which I did videos on those. So this was the boy gnome, which is watermelon themed. I need to give them another press. They got a bit wrinkly. So I hope to be putting those into a finished quilt top this week. And this is the girl gnome. And the accent one. And the accent too. So I did all 4 of those this week. And last week I had shown the country rose and I had just started pinning that together. Well, I finished pinning all of that together. I haven't sewn, but I did get all of those rows all pinned together. I've got all of those, the whole quilt pinned together. So I just have to go through and sew those and then start adding the borders. I think I'd only had like the first 3 rows or something pinned together last week. But I did finish pinning all of that. And I did some paper piecing this week on my big paper piecing quilt. Let me get that. So, pull everything out. So this is this paper piecing pattern I'm working on. Now I'd already shown I did the big diamonds, pieced all of those together previously. I think they're way down in there. So I'd already done these previously. There's a bunch of these diamonds that I had paper pieced together. But I paper pieced these little New York Beauty blocks right in there. They separated them to a left and a right block. Also, this little itty bitty piece right down there, I had previously pieced. So let me show you those. So I paper pieced all 8 of these. Now this I'd previously pieced, but I had pieced all those. And then I have 8 of these that I had pieced together. So when it's time to sew them, they'll go together. I think something like that. Now these pieces are going to do some curved piecing, and they're going to piece right down through there. So it'll come down like that. So I have to sew all of these little pieces onto those bigger pieces with some curved piecing. And then I also, on this, cut out these background pieces right here with the templates. So I have all these templates together, and that's going to be my background. So I did that. So after I sew those itty bitty pieces onto that, next thing we work on is going to be this. And we'll see how we do. Now I do think this is a very confusing pattern with instructions. I've done paper piecing before, but nothing to this magnitude, and I just think the instructions are very confusing, but I am figuring it out. So I worked on that. Alright, so I finished that Sew Samplers box. So I pulled out the next one, which this is the September 2021 box, and the pattern is Summit. All I've done on this so far is cut it out, and I've started to pen some things together where I'm going to make some hourglass units. That's all I did on that. And then still got more things. I started on this double take pattern. Now this is a 5 1-yard bundles that I'd bought at Polar Fabrics in Indiana, and it came with a free pattern, and that was the pattern. But my fabrics are black, white, and pink. So I'm starting by making some 4-patch units. So I've got those. These are 2 of the fabrics. And then the other fabrics are these black. And then I've got a bunch of these half square triangles sewn together. So I worked on that. I've got more. Now, I also worked and did 3 more blocks in the Lori Holt Vintage Christmas block. I have 6 more to go, and then I can start putting that together in the quilt. So let me show you the 3 blocks I did. I did the little toy soldier block there, and the train block, and the Christmas lights block. And then all these were done previously. So only 6 more blocks to go, and then I can start putting that together into the finished quilt top. Here knows I'll get around to quilting it. Alright. And I made one other block. And this was the pansy quilt from the pressed flowers from Fat Quarter Shops. So sampler block of the month. And there's the pansy block. And there were the other 2 previous ones. There's that one. And that one. Okay, so that's everything I worked on as far as sewing and quilting this week. Let me show you my cross stitch progress. So I'm working on this You Are My Sunshine pattern from the Stitch Quarterly subscription. And I'm just doing this on 14 count Aida. Here's what I've got done so far. It's coming along. Now, my crochet. I am working on this Cabernet cardigan from Luther Co. And I'm still working on that back panel. I'm almost done with that back panel. But it's getting bigger. See? That's where we are with that back panel. Just got a couple more rows to do on that. And then we'll start working on the front. Alright, one more thing to show you. And here is my diamond painting project. It is getting there. I got that little top section up there, then I got one more row down through there to do. It's getting there. And this is Adeline by Micah Gelini. Hi, it's editing me. I was editing my videos, we're in the car, and I noticed it got cut off. So just coming back to say bye, till next time.